What do you do? What do you do? How y'all feeling? Welcome. This is AshnielzRadio. I am your host, Ashniel. That is I. So we talking to y'all. Yes. Now I know you guys heard about this story, and this story has been going mega viral. Is that the term? I think it is mega viral. And there's a lot of mixed feelings, a lot of mixed, I guess, opinions. People think that there's no case here. Some people think that there is a case here. Some people don't like the fact that the way the officers responded was a little violent, and some people think that the violence was warranted. So this got real interesting. It brought in a whole bunch of celebrities too, like D.L. Hughley, what's his name, Jamie Foxx. They all had something to say. So I had a video about it, of course, and my video was basically, I would say, premature, right? It was about the viral video recorded in the car, right? And initially, when we see the glass break, right? Then we see him get punched, right? And everybody, even me, we liked, what's wrong with this? Why the cop do that, right? Granted, right? Now, once the whole body cam came out, that's where everybody's perception had kind of changed, right? It was, oh man, he was being combative. He should have just complied with the officer, right? And so when the full body cam came out, I even did a review on it, covered the whole body cam footage, and basically concluded that the abuse still wasn't warranted. Yep. And I'm sorry. There's a lot of people that's like, oh, if you see the body cam, you would change your mind. You'd change your mind. You change your mind. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. And I don't know why other people would change their mind. Excuse me. Hold on one second. I forgot to do something. I don't know why people would change their mind after they seen the body cam. Like, what did the body cam show you? Honestly, what did it show you? It showed you basically that he was being arrested. He was pulled over first, right? Then the cop came out the car. Kid opens his door, or guy opens his door, and then he closed it. And right there, that's where people's like, oh, he resisted arrest. He closed the door and slammed the door on the cop. Bruh, and I disagree. So, hold on one second. Give me a second. I want to, we're going to cover this. Hold on one second. Give me 2.2. Because I don't like the fact that we have people that are trying to gaslight us and say, he had this coming because of XYZ. And XYZ means what? Nothing to me. So let's just give us a recap of the situation, and we're going to go into some of these people's videos and their critique on this situation, because it's becoming a big story. He has both Harry Daniels and Benjamin Crump on this case. There's some there. Yes.
And we want to warn our viewers right now that the video you are about to see is newly released video of a man being arrested during a traffic stop in Jacksonville, Florida.
See how they do me? What happened to my audio?
Force used by
Hold on one second. We having audio issues. Look at that, it's unmuted. It's unmuted. And we have no audio.
police during the stop. Now, in the video, you can see, and we want to warn our viewers right now that the video you are about to see is disturbing.
Now to the fallout over newly released footage of a violent.
Oh, no. It could be me. Hold on. Let me check this. Let me check this one. Let's see if we got audio here.
And just because force is ugly does not mean it's unlawful or contrary to policy.
No audio. But yes, the situation is getting real sticky. And hold on. Oh, there we go. Boom. There we go. All right. So the situation is getting real sticky, and I don't know why my audio had muted, but it did. You know, the universe like the universe, and that's what we have. Let's go back to
Now to the fallout.
I want to go back to this other video. Hold on real quick.
And we want to warn our viewers right now that the video you are about to see is disturbing. Newly released video of a man being arrested during a traffic stop in Jacksonville, Florida in February has prompted an investigation into the use of force used by police during the stop. Now, in the video, you can see William McNeil Jr. being hit in the face and dragged to the ground by officers. In the arrest report, one of the officers said McNeil was pulled over for not having his headlights on in rainy weather. Now, this morning, McNeil Jr. spoke out.
That day, I just really wanted to know, why I was getting pulled over and why I needed to step out the car when I knew I didn't do nothing wrong. I was really just scared. And yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to bring in CBS News correspondent Elaine Keano, who was following this press conference from Jacksonville earlier. Elaine, thank you so much for joining us on 24/7 today. Break down the claims from William McNeil Jr. and his attorney about the stop and what police are saying.
Well, you heard Mugo, William McNeil Jr. saying there that he was scared during that stop back in February. He said that he wanted to know why he was being pulled over, and you can hear him actually on video asking that very question, and that's why he wanted to wait for a supervisor before getting out of the vehicle. Well, he and his attorney...
And that's the thing. You have the right. You have the right to request a supervisor. And I don't understand why these grifters and self-hating motherfuckers, they just keep on making the claim that he is being combative. He wasn't being combative. He closed the door and requested a supervisor multiple times before the glass was shattered. So that right there, and I don't know if the supervisor ever came out, but that right there shows aggression on the police part. Y'all could keep on saying, oh, he didn't show his ID, he didn't identify himself, he didn't give him his license. You're right. But they didn't give him a supervisor. Simple.
Attorneys argue that immediately and unnecessarily the law enforcement officers on the scene escalated the situation very quickly, as you see in that video, when one of them punched through the glass on the driver's side window there and shattered it, and then punched McNeil himself in the face. Now, the attorneys say that he suffered a concussion, a chipped tooth, needed 9 stitches after that altercation. But the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office says that the footage itself does not tell the whole story. McNeil was asked 7 times to exit the vehicle, but he did not. The sheriff, T.K. Waters, says that the reality is that all force, all violence is ugly, and just because force is ugly does not mean it is unlawful or contrary to policy. Mugo?
Really?
Still very, very hard just watching that video there, Elaine, as you were.
All force is ugly. But if it's warranted, then hey, sorry, that's just what we have to do. Okay. Was this warranted? That's what everybody's saying. Like, was it? What did he do? Close the door? What was the initial stop for? Child abduction? Speeding? Headlights? So was the use of force warranted? Nobody thinks so. Only you got a few that do.
Speaking, what comes next in this case?
So it's important to note that William McNeil Jr. later pled guilty to resisting arrest without violence and driving on a suspended driver's license. However, his attorneys made it a point today to say that at the time of that plea, they believe William McNeil Jr. was concussed. And so they want to highlight that as something that should be noted moving forward here, that because they suggest he was suffering from that concussion, that is something that needed to be taken into account as that plea was being entered. Now, the officer involved in this is on administrative leave pending an internal investigation. The state's attorney, however, has already said no criminal charges will be filed. Benjamin Crump, the attorney for William McNeil Jr., says as a civil rights attorney, he plans to seek out any and all legal recourse that is available to get justice for William McNeil Jr. and his family.
Okay, Elaine Keano, thank you so much.
And that's crazy. You see how? Oh, sorry. You see how you had these officers here. Hold on. It was these two officers, those two brothers, right? A lot of people said that that's what they do. They put those officers up there, two brothers, this chief and whoever else next to him. That way the racial element of this case will seem like nuance. Like, nah. Even the black chief said, nah. That shit don't matter. That don't matter to nobody. We don't care that we got a black officer that is standing by during the situation, watching it happen, and he did nothing. We don't care that the black police chief came out and said there's no racial element behind this situation. No. Nobody cares. We understand that the system is going to do what the system do. Right? Hold on one second. I got to get to the video. We know that the system is going to do what the system does. They're going to back the blue. The last thing the police chief is going to do is come out against his officers. No, that's not going to happen. Sorry about that. That's not going to happen. And we're going to be sitting here wondering, like, okay, because without a lawyer, nobody knows if his rights were violated, right? There's no integrity in the justice system. There's no integrity within the police department. They know if it's wrong, it's wrong. They know that. But in their case, it's one of them things, just like with anything, right? We have to prove it. So in January, when the situation happened, he wasn't represented by Benjamin Crump and them. No, it was just another black man assaulted by cops because he didn't comply, right? But now that it's national news and he has representation, there might be some retracting of these stories, right? And we had a lot of people. Calling the police chief out. A lot of people. And one of those people was Jamie Foxx. And what's my boy name? D.L. Hughley. They wasn't going for this. They wasn't going for it, and neither am I.
As the viral video featuring the traffic stop of William McNeil Jr. continues to make its rounds, Jacksonville Sheriff T.K. Waters was forced to address the footage and outrage that followed, especially after Waters initially announced the officers involved would not face criminal charges. The original video would spark anger and disgust after showing Jacksonville state officers breaking McNeil's car window, punching him in the face on multiple occasions, dragging him out of his car, and forcing him to the ground, which many considered unnecessary. As the unrest amongst the country got louder, Waters decided to share body camera footage in order to tell the full story. Waters would continue to explain his reasoning during a press conference.
But what I don't understand is, and I know you said that this was not ruled criminal, sucker punching the guy in the jaw.
First of all, let me stop you. Not a sucker punch.
No. Not a sucker punch.
Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle.
I'm not excusing that administratively. I'm going to say that to you one more time. I'm not excusing that administratively.
And there it is. How is that not a sucker punch? How? Talk to us. How is that not a sucker? He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't see the punch coming. His face is that way. And this sucker had no reason to hit him. How is it not a sucker punch?
Administratively. There are things that we definitely need to look at. But the context of this video should tell you everything you need to know.
Well, again, it looks like it's a sucker punch because he's looking straight and you see this.
Right.
Okay, and then you see them pull him out and you see a couple of punches to the face. Now, again, I understand breaking the window, but he charged him with resisting arrest without violence. So I saw a lot of violence. I think the public saw a lot of violence.
First of all, Eric, don't try to talk the public into what they saw. They just saw the same video as you saw. So what we're doing,
and the public is calling you out. What do you mean? Don't tell the public what they saw. You're trying to tell the public what they saw. What are you talking about? That's that whole out of context bullshit that they always try to. Bro, we have fucking cameras. We seen it. So for you to sit there and be like, don't try to tell the public what they seen. Bro, I only got one, granted, but we seen a sucker punch. And another one once he was out the car. Come on, man. That backtrack, once everything comes out and the lawyers start to build their case and show that there was uncalled for use of force, the backtrack of his statement, it ain't gonna matter. It ain't gonna be respected. Nobody's gonna be like, all right, cool. Because the way he's being so disrespectful to these people asking questions, like we're just asking questions. We're just asking questions. This guy's sitting there saying, so when the public views this video and he says, don't you speak for the public. Don't try to tell the public what they see. Isn't that guy part of the public? I don't know. This gaslighting gonna backfire though.
Saying is that it is what it is. This is the information that I want to share with the public in context without a short clip. It's very important to do that because it provides a lot of information to the public.
And you brought up
it's important. Let me finish. It's important for the people to know that you're not allowed to resist a police officer when he's doing his lawful duties. It's been dealt with in several different times. You don't resist when you're doing your lawful duties. You don't deserve to get violated, but you deserve to get.
Got him. Oh, buddy. That statement right there is gonna stick. Oh, it's gonna stick. You don't deserve to be violated. Okay. That's what the case is built on, stupid. Come on, man. We understand that maybe, like the guy said it. We understand that the window got broke because he closed the door and yada, yada, yada. But once the window was broken, hands were up and all of that and pulled out. And he said, all right, once he got pulled out, that's what we're calling unjust. So for you to concede, that's what we call an admission. Yeah, maybe, you don't deserve to get hit, but that's going to stick.
Get what's necessary to get you under control and get you and take you into custody.
The allegation that McNeil had reached down for the knife, that was in the police report.
Where'd you see, what police report did you see that in?
In the arrest report for McNeil, that was stated that the officer saw him, reach for the knife that was on the floorboard. The video that was posted to social media, and even in there, do you see that when you're watching?
No, actually, I don't see where his hands are.
One.
I don't know. I don't see. And shout out to who was this? Who's the story from? Oh, is it hipster club or something? Shout out to them. There's a million videos of this. I could get the original video from the original footage from this press conference. But, I just shout out whoever's doing this content here since I'm using their video. And I want to get to the Jamie Foxx part. But for this cop to say, oh, well, I don't know where his hands were. Yo, like that was the key part of the whole video when I covered it. I was like, oh shit. He said, here, like the most innocent, I guess submission, right? Because y'all say he resisted arrest. It looked like he was submitting right there. He was like, here, both hands. Look, they're right here. Here go my hands. They're here. This piece of shit said, well, I don't know where his hands were. Come on, man. Come on, man. Please, don't gaslight us like that. That gaslight, right, is the reason why the country is turning the way it's turning, right? We're even in politics, like when we hear the news, people are like taking it with a large grain of salt. Like, I don't know if Fox and CNN is telling the truth. Let me go to social media and figure out what the actual news is, right? Because we understand gaslight. There is a number of lawyers who disagrees with this police chief. And now these lawyers, nowadays, social media is so big, these lawyers have their own YouTube channel. They're educating the public on what use of force is warranted. And when this police chief, the guy that's supposed to be here for the public, not to make his own department look good, he literally is going to sit here and tell us, there's nothing to see here. My officers were right. They didn't know where his hands were. I couldn't even see where his hands were. It's going to backfire so bad, bro. It's going to backfire.
Piece of evidence considered in a vacuum without any context can lead to skewed conclusions. When incomplete cell phone camera footage becomes the basis on which public opinion turns, the results can be equally faulty. A rush to judgment, whether it be in a criminal investigation or in a court of public opinion, can lead to flawed conclusions.
Okay.
Now, after revealing none of the officers involved have been recommended for criminal charges by the state attorney's office, Waters would note they are still under internal review for potential department policy violations. Of course, there were still many who weren't pleased with Waters' press conference, as well as the defense of his fellow officers. Those who were upset would make their feelings known on social media, including D.L. Hughley, who amplified the story earlier this week by posting it to his own Instagram. Hughley would share a clip from Waters' press conference in explanation, simply writing, "Wow," as a caption, in order to express disbelief towards Waters standing behind his fellow officers. Aside from Hughley, Jamie Foxx was another figure to share his thoughts on the matter, asking, "For effing headlights?" Comedian Pierre was one more to contribute to the ongoing conversation.
Now, and that was another thing I said, and forgive me, I thought it was going to be more than that. I could do that. Go to TikTok or Twitter my damn self. Now, that was one of the main things people were saying about this situation. They were saying inclement weather, right? Inclement weather is the reason behind the stop. And the reason behind the need for the headlights, right? And in the law, it does state that, you know what I'm saying? If it's raining, if it's foggy outside, smoke, then you should have your headlights on, right? Right? Okay, that's makes sense, right? That's laws all over the country like that. I'm from California. Yeah, we got those same laws there. It's a traffic ticket. That's it. It's not something that you pull somebody out the car. Damn sure ain't nothing that you bust a window for. And the cop, they always want us to be the professional, right? They want us to understand, if the cop tells you to do this, that, and that, you have to do this, that, and that, right? Well, why the cop never have to be the professional. Understand the situation. Analyze what's going on. When the guy said clear as day, this window doesn't work. Why don't y'all go to the other window? Talk to him. Let him hand you all his documentation through the fucking window that worked. Nah, y'all didn't care. Y'all did not care. Now, one of the funnest interactions, right, of this whole thing was Officer Tatum. Officer Tatum, I know y'all know who that is, Officer Coon Tatum. He has this back and forth with Lackluster. I don't know if you know who Lackluster is, but he's a guy that covers police brutality and injustice in the law. You know, there's a lot of those channels that I follow. Lackluster, Audit the Audit. There's a few of them. I respect them. Right? Now, Lackluster, he has like over 1 million followers, right? 1 million subscribers on YouTube, right? And Officer Tatum, he has like 3 million, something like that, right? And this back and forth was getting kind of interesting to the point where some lawyer had to cover the story, right? The lawyers covered it. The Hodge twins covered it, right? They don't even care about the officers' interaction with William no more. They're like, oh man, this back and forth. And the funny thing that I noticed about this back and forth, right? Because I always call out Brandon Tatum. I'm not a fan of him. I think he's a self-hating Negro who's trying to make the black community look bad. That's just what it is. He, some Arizona bro who think he know how we get down, and he's like, oh, trust me, all black folks deserve it, right? So Lackluster came out and said he's a bootlicker. Simple. He's a bootlicker. That's what he is. We all know it. When we say it, it don't hit. But when somebody else say it, they be feeling it. Same with what was his name? Jason Whitlock. When Nick Fuentes called Jason Whitlock a tool, it stuck. It hurt him. But when the black community calls him something, it don't stick. So what I want to do is, instead of playing Officer Tatum's video and what's his name, Lackluster's video, I'm gonna go ahead and play this lawyer's video, because this lawyer basically broke it down and said what I said. Like, I don't know, bro. Hold on 1 second. I don't know. There may be some there. And for Officer Tatum to just be a cop, we know about cops that they don't know the law. No. They go to academy for about 8 months, and then they get a badge and a gun, and they go out and enforce laws that they don't even understand. Then they get sued, and then people like me, the community, we have to pay higher property taxes because of a lawsuit that got settled because these cops don't know the law. So yes, we're going to go into this lawyer's video. Hold on 1 second, because this was hilarious. I was laughing so hard. I couldn't control myself, because the thing about Officer Tatum is he's one of those paid grifters that think they know it all. And for somebody to push back, somebody of the community, this is how Officer Tatum said, people of the melanin. People of the melanin. That's how he says it. People of the melanin, they deserve this kind of treatment. The people of the melanin don't know how to comply with officers. People of the melanin, they always got it coming. So yes, this lawyer is a person of melanin.
Shout out to brother Officer Tatum. Now, I hate to do this to him. I hate to make this video, but Officer Tatum is a boot-licking moron, apparently.
Next, Tatum thinks that the officers used a proportionate amount of force for the situation, because he's a bootlicking moron.
If you don't know what you're talking about, don't make a video about Brandon Tatum.
So, for context, this guy here on the left, that's Lackluster, right? And of course, this is Officer Tatum. Now, a lot of people has made videos about Officer Tatum. He doesn't cover him. He don't care for him. This video hurt. Oh, his fucking feelings was hurt. We all know that a hit dog will holler. So when Officer Tatum called him a bootlicker, when Lackluster called Officer Tatum a bootlicker, oh yeah, he felt that shit.
That's it. Put your biases aside. Put your anti-police rhetoric aside. Do some research. Before you decide to make a video calling me a bootlicker and all kind of other stuff when you have no idea what you're talking about according to the law. You have no idea what you're talking about according to police interactions. You have no idea what you're talking about according to what you claimed that I said and the positions that you said I took and didn't take.
All right, guys, we are heating up. We are talking today about two heavyweights going at it. We have the Officer Tatum. Y'all know him, a huge Goliath in the space. He has over 3 million subscribers, a big dog. But then you have another YouTuber, a man named Lackluster. He also has over 1 million subscribers.
Say 3 million subscribers. He's what'd he say? He's a big dog, right? Hey, and Lackluster has over 1 million subscribers, right? Nah, he climbing, right? He ain't a big dog yet, I guess, right? When you see these people like Officer Tatum and others, when they're allowed access to the White House to interview important people like Tom Homan and others, these aren't organic subscribers to their channel. These aren't grassroots commentators. No. They are paid shields. They are. When you see Officer Tatum having an interview with the border czar, and then you go to his YouTube channel and you see he has 3 million subscribers, and then you look at his comments. Look at his comments. Look at all of his comments. This is how you know when somebody has a paid channel. When a comment section says, they start off their comment by saying, as a black man, as a black woman, as a Hispanic man, as a Hispanic woman. That's how all his comments are. It would be a video about ICE detaining some innocent people at a immigration hearing. They're at their hearing, trying to do it the right way, follow the law. They'll get detained by ICE. Tatum will make a video talk about, hey, you broke the law. Hey, you're in here illegally. Hey, you've committed a crime. Hey. When we all can see that they're following the law, doing it the right way. They're at court being detained. You will go to his comment section, and there'll be a whole bunch of people saying, as a Hispanic guy, I think he should go. I think he should be deported. As a Hispanic woman, I agree with ICE. Bro, nah, that's a paid channel. Those are paid subscribers. Those are fake subscribers and fake comments. So yes, when Officer Tatum had this video about William being arrested and punched by the police officer, there was a lot of comments in it. As a black man, I think he should have complied. Nah, you're just a bootlicker, and your channel is not authentic.
Lackluster has called Officer Tatum out over this whole JSO officer viral video. Lackluster calls Officer Tatum a moron, calls him a bootlicker. Now Officer Tatum has responded back. What I am going to do is review this video, and I'm going to look at one thing specifically. I'll be honest with you, they talk about a lot of different issues, and if I tried to cover them all, I'd be here all day. So I'm only going to cover one, maybe in future videos, I'll pick up some more issues and I'll decide who is right and wrong. Again, I am the lead attorney, practiced law down here in Atlanta over 20 years. I've handled countless criminal cases, so I've got a perspective on this. Now, Lackluster and Officer Tatum are arguing back and forth about numerous issues, but I'm only going to pick up one today. Today, we are only going to talk about the rain issue. Was the officer correct in pulling over the driver because he didn't have his headlights on?
Here's how I got automated transcripts and summaries for
Sorry. And I agree with the initial pullover, right? Right? It was raining, right? As we can see, there was raindrops on his car, right? We get it. We get it. All right, that's why you pulled me over. Why are you pulling me out? Why are you pulling me out? Because I closed the door that didn't need to be open in the first place? Where's the crime?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason why I'm pulling you over. For one thing, inclement weather, you don't have your lights on.
Now, it needs to be said that the officer had a couple of more reasons why he pulled the driver over. But we are just going to focus on the headlight issue and the rain issue. Was the driver required to have his headlights on because of the rain? Officer Tatum and Lackluster can't agree on this point, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of you can't agree either. I did a video on this recently, and I got so many comments about the dang rain. I mean, just look at what you guys are sending me 44 minutes ago. Am I the only one that sees raindrops all over the dude's car? 55 minutes ago, I see raindrops. If it wasn't raining, why are there raindrops? Dude, it was clearly raining. Come on, Lee, there were raindrops everywhere. It's rain, rain, rain. It's 100% raining. The beautiful Ricky says, Lee, I usually agree with you, but you can see the raindrops. Guys, I tell you, I got hundreds and hundreds of comments. There's literally rain on the car. Everybody's talking about this rain. So who is right, Lackluster or Officer Tatum, the bootlicker? By the end of this video, you will know decisively who is right and who is wrong in this debate. And it's very important for me to tell you that you're not going to know who's right or wrong just because I told you. You are going to know who's right and who's wrong because you critically thought for yourself. So here's what we're going to do. It is your first day in law school. You are sitting in my criminal law class. I am your professor, Professor Lead. Today we're going to talk about this case and whether the officer was allowed to pull the driver over because he didn't have his headlights on. Again, there are a lot of other issues that we can talk about, but I don't want to make this video too long. So, was the officer allowed to pull the driver over because the officer saw that he didn't have his headlights on? That's the question that I'm asking you.
Yes. It's not a problem for me. Yes. Do I think they police that law often? No. No. As y'all can see in the video, there's a lot of cars driving by. If you know, when you have your headlights on, your taillights would be on. Unless it's one of those cars, I don't know if it had the headlights only, you know what I mean? Maybe the taillights won't be on. But the majority of cars, if your headlights are on, your taillights are on. When you're looking at this video, you can see all the cars riding by. And they're going too fast to see the headlights. But you can see none of the taillights were on. When the police officers pulled up to assist, none of them had their headlights on. So yes, it is on the books that you have to have your headlights on during it, and they're going to go through it. It doesn't say inclement weather. It says through rain, fog, and smoke or some shit, right? But if you're not policing it and you just decided to on this occasion, then there's some skepticism there. Just there is. But to answer the question, yeah, he has a right to be pulled over.
And you, it's your first day of law school, you say, well, I don't know. How am I supposed to figure it out? Well, I'll tell you, young student, if you have a question about the legality of something, the first place you go to is the law. You go to the state statute. All right, here is the state statute right here. The Florida Senate, the Florida statutes, when lighted lamps are required. All right, this is going to explain to us when you have to have your headlights on. If the officer saw that the driver did not have his headlights on when required, then the officer was correct in pulling him over for this violation. Let's read it. It says, every vehicle operated on a highway within the state shall display lighted lamps and illuminated devices as herein respectively required. Okay, number one, at any time from sunset to sunrise, so basically at nighttime in the twilight hours. But here is where we get into the thick of things. You are required to have your headlights on during any rain, smoke, or fog. So if I ask you, young student of mine, when in Florida are you required to have your headlights on relevant to this specific case, the answer is during any rain, smoke, or fog. You got?
Boom. Well, inclement weather isn't the claim. You can't use inclement weather, I guess, right? Because it's not detailed in the law. So I guess the cop did say, he did say rain. He did, and it was raining. So I still conclude that he had the right to be pulled over. I still think he was pulled over for a bullshit reason, but it was part of this law, which is 316.217, section B, right? Section B, right? So we're going to go off of this part during rain, okay? As the lawyer gets into it, he's going to discuss the fact, that it stopped raining. All right. Let's just continue. With the video, because I do agree with a lot and I disagree with some.
That rain, smoke, or fog. That's it. Now you guys may say, wow, being a lawyer is pretty easy. I know what rain means, I know what smoke means, and I know what fog means, right? Well, I got you. The most important word when we analyze this particular situation is not rain, is not smoke, and it's not fog. What's the most important word? It's during. You see here, guys, this during here, this is the operative word. This state statute, honestly, is very specific. It doesn't say before it's raining. It doesn't say after it's raining. It says during the rain.
Imagine being able to build.
All right. And there you have it. Right? There you have it. During the rain. Is that nitpicking? Is it? You could make the case that, oh man, what the hell are you talking about, man? That little text don't mean nothing. Ooh, in the case of law, it does. It does. So, like I said in the beginning, these cops, they go to the academy just like Officer Tatum, and he think he knows the law. So in their head, when they hear stuff like inclement weather during rain, fog, and others, people are supposed to have their headlights on. Academy baby won't understand that word during. So that's why I agree with that dumbass cop, because he doesn't understand that word during. How long ago was it raining? Because we know how rain works, right? He could have driven out of the rain. The clouds could have been raining back there. And that's probably where he initiated the lights. Boop. I don't know. I don't think so, because he didn't initiate the light till he turned. But they probably just drove out of the rain. So I stand by my statement on he still had the right to pull him over. Because an ignorant cop wouldn't understand that word during. Sorry.
The traffic stop during the rain. The officer has to pull this driver over while it's raining. The pulling over of the driver and the rain needs to occur simultaneously. Is that clear to you? And since you're a first-year law student, it's your first day of class, you might say, well, that's not really what they meant, right? They didn't mean during. No. The United States Supreme Court, all the way down to all the lower courts, have always said that the legislature means exactly what they've said. If the legislature would have wanted to write this law to say, you know, before the rain, then the legislature could have done that. If the legislature wanted to say 30 minutes after the rain or an hour after the rain, the legislator could have wrote that in the statute. The legislature did neither, however. The legislature said during. These state legislators are all adults, probably half of them were.
And that wouldn't have been hard. That wouldn't have been hard, right? What was hard about that statement, or putting before, during, and after, right? That'd be complex, right? Before, during, and after the rain, you have to have your lights on, even if it's not nighttime, right? Because right now, where is this at? Florida, right? It's Florida, so it could be raining in the next hour. They don't know. So it would have been one of those things where over policing and misinterpretation of the law would have caused a lot of stops. Cops would have been like, oh, he didn't have his lights on, and it was getting ready to rain. There's no reason to put before, during, and after rain. You have to have your lights on, even if it's not nighttime. So that during part is key. He's right. It's key. When you're in court of law, you can nitpick those little terms. When it comes down to specialists, when they start calling, if it get this crazy, which I don't think it will, somebody gonna settle. But if they wanted to get crazy and hire some specialists and some professionals and some people that understand weather and how I'm gonna get crazy. How long ago was he in the rain? If raindrops were still on his car after a maintained speed of 30 miles an hour, a couple turns here, couple turns there, if it wasn't raining, would the drops have dried up by now? Like, they could get crazy, and then the specialist could be like, in my conclusion, I think that the cop was warranted because it was during the rainy situation. Right? That's how stupid they could be. So these laws, you do have to. If you want to get crazy, you do have to nitpick like that. But if you're going to be a nitpicker, then the other end can do the same. They can. So for him to be like, oh, they're adults, these people that wrote this law, they could have put the during and before and after if they wanted to. A little more complex than that.
Attorneys, so they know how to use their words well, and they all said during. What does during mean in this context? It means two events occurring simultaneously: the pulling over of the driver and the rain. We got that? We're on the same page? Now you know how to analyze this case legally. Now let's go to the facts of this case. Was it raining? Here we have the driver's car, and we can clearly see water droplets. Now let me ask you, law student, thinking critically, if there are water droplets on a car, does it necessarily mean that it's raining? This is easy for you, even though it's your first day. Obviously, the answer is no. Water droplets can be on a car for numerous reasons. Water droplets could be on a car because it rained 15 minutes ago. Water can be on a car because the car got washed. Water can be on the car because the car rolled over a puddle and water splashed on the car. So just because there are water droplets on the car does not mean that it's raining.
Right? No. And before I continue, I do want to say that I side with William in the abuse, right? He wasn't supposed to be hit, punched in the face. But if you want to analyze the fact that it was raining and he had the right to be pulled over, then yes, it's clearly raining, right? And let's go ahead and use the reasons that this lawyer said. Oh, just because your car is wet does not necessarily mean it's raining. You could have just washed your car, right? Granted, granted, right? But we're gonna be smart people. We're gonna be smart people. We know if you go through a car wash, you're gonna go through a dryer. The dryer is going to dry your car a little bit more than what this is. Right here look like he's fresh out the dryer, still in the parking lot. And he ain't even get to use the 30-mile-an-hour winds to completely dry his car. You can literally start being petty and saying, oh, the water drops are on this car and they're going down, like vertically, up and down. They're not like swaying, like left and right, right? They're not like going that way as opposed to a car that was in a wash. A car that got washed, those water droplets are like going that way, like coming off the car. Like these water drops literally are like falling as if it was fucking raining. Like he was at a light and the water was just, he wasn't even speeding to the point where the droplets on his car were doing this backwards. No, we can conclude that it was raining. We don't have to be that kind of lawyer. We're going to defend him. He didn't have the right to be hit. No. This whole bullshit about it wasn't raining. Come on, y'all. Don't do us like that. That actually discredits his claim. We know it was raining.
What I'm going to do is play this video, but I'm going to mute it so we can focus on the water droplets. And what I want you to look at, young student, I want you to see if there are any new droplets that you see forming on the car as the video plays. Now, everybody take a close look. I'm going to play the video. Do you see any new water droplets? If you see new water droplets, then we can assume that that's rain. If we see no new water droplets, then what does that mean? All right, let's play the video. So here is the video. It is playing. Again, I've muted it because we don't need the sound to figure out whether it's raining or not. I'll be honest with you. I'm looking at the glass. I'm looking at the molding. I'm looking at the door. I see no new water droplets. Do you guys see any new water droplets?
Okay, he asked the question. Do y'all see any new water droplets? Right? No. We don't. Does that necessarily mean that it's not raining? No. No, that doesn't. You can literally look up into the sky. Look at the clouds. Look at the clouds. Look at the clouds. And I'm going to emphasize clouds. It's not a blue sky. Let's say he's driving east and the rainstorm was going west and he just drove out of it. And now those clouds are still moving east. There would not be new raindrops. Like, no, there wouldn't be. Doesn't mean that your mama house isn't raining. You could have just left the house and the storm's going that way and you drove out of it. Doesn't mean that it's not pouring over there just because it's not raining right here. No, you can't use that. It is invalidating his claim.
I don't see one. We're just letting it play here. I'm going to say that it's not raining, guys.
There we go. It's not raining.
Could it have rained previously? 100%. I do believe that it was raining 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes ago. But if I'm honest with you, I saw no new water droplets forming on that car. So, young student of mine, this is the question for you. All right, you ready? During the time that the body cam video was taken, was it raining? That's your question. Now, I do need to point out that it is technically possible for the officer to have pulled the driver over and then 5, 10, 20 seconds when the officer gets up there, it stops raining. So that it was raining when the officer pulled the driver over, but it's not raining 20 seconds into the video. That is a possibility technically. But just going on the video as we see it, I believe it is not currently raining. What did we say about the law? We said, young law student, that every vehicle operated upon a highway, every driver is required to have their headlights on during any rain, smoke, or fog. So,
and that is going to be my key defense. This would have been my key defense. Instead of saying it wasn't raining, it was. We're not going to play dumb. But when it says clear as day, and this is where Officer Tatum got it wrong, he said, officers are excluded from following traffic laws. What? Officer doesn't have to have his seatbelt on. Officer doesn't have to. That's a lie. An officer could speed to a situation and not get pulled up. That's true. But if there's no emergency, if they're not in an active duty, they have to follow traffic laws, bruh. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I've seen videos of a cop arresting a cop. It was a female cop. She arrested a male cop for speeding. Flew past her. Choo. But he's a cop. Officer Tatum. Why he didn't get a speeding ticket? Why he didn't get a slap on the wrist and let off? He was fired and arrested because you still have to follow traffic laws. So this key statement right here that says every this one right here, every vehicle right here, that is going to be a key. If I was defending, I ain't no lawyer, but that's what I'll tell my lawyer. Hey, bro, the law says every vehicle. So if it was that big of a situation, every vehicle operated upon a highway within the state shall display lighted lamps, right? Why weren't the officers' lights on? Fuck what Tatum said. We're not listening to him. I think they all have to follow the rules. Why police me if you didn't police them? So that's the part that I'll be harping on. That whole it ain't raining. It ain't working, bro. It ain't gonna work, bro.
Oh, was this driver required to have his headlights on? If the officer pulled the driver over during the rain, then yes. But if the officer pulled the driver over when it was not raining, then no. Now, when you hear all these content creators, these YouTubers talking about this issue and you don't know who's right, now you know how to think for yourself. Now you know how to legally analyze whether...
I'm not a fan of that statement. I'm not. All these content creators and all these YouTubers that are telling you all this bullshit, now you know how to think for yourself. That is the most disrespectful statement ever. That statement is almost like the Roland Martin statement. This is why I was a fan of Roland Martin until some shit came out. And then the way they demonize the quote, this is how they say the uneducated. Like, what do you mean uneducated? Because we didn't go to law school? Because we didn't go to school and some college and go into debt and had this little piece of paper that said, hey, this guy's credible for saying whatever he's going to say right now. He knows what he's talking about. No, that don't mean shit. Roland Martin's the worst one. Oh, what college did you graduate from? I didn't go to college. Well, then we ain't got nothing to talk about. Like, bro, that don't mean nothing. It means nothing. So for this lawyer to sit here, mind you, there's different lawyers with different takes, right? That's all lawyers are. That's all the judge, the lawyer, the DA, all of them. They don't know nothing. None of them. If you study constitutional law, right? think about this. Just think about this for a second. While this lawyer disrespect YouTubers and content creators for just analyzing a situation for themselves, and then he's literally trying to say, look, you can think for yourself, right? In a case, there's a winner and a loser, right? Two lawyers are going at it, defending whoever they're defending, right? There's a loser. A loser, meaning somebody that took the bar exam, spent all that money to go to school and go into debt. Maybe he paid his debt, whatever. Got the education. He lost. Does that mean that he didn't know what the hell he was talking about? Or was he trying to defend the indefensible? What if there was a YouTuber that kept calling him out? That lawyer don't know what the hell he's talking about. And for months, that YouTuber was gaining notoriety. And people like you was like, that's just a YouTuber. Next thing you know, the lawyer loses the case and the YouTuber was right. So that disrespectful term of all these little content creators trying to have their little take. Bro, ain't that the reason why you're making this video? For us to have our own take? It's just crazy. To me, I think it's crazy.
This driver was required to have his headlights on or not. Now, law student of mine, I'm going to give you a quick pop quiz. I am going to have you analyze some of the comments of the regular people, the people who are not in law school like you are. And I want to see if you can identify any issues with how these laymen are thinking about this case. Here's
regular people, laymen's. He has his hands like this. Mind you, I am defending Williams. It might not seem like it, but I have to call this shit out, bro. That's disrespect. Let's see how these laymen's. Bro, I guarantee you, if I had a nice question, a questionnaire of some carpentry shit, you would fail. I bet you. Would I call you a regular person? Should I call you a regular person? A layman? It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Just because you went through to this law school, you think you know more than us? It's just crazy.
The first comment says the ground is wet and there are water particles on his windows. Right. Just because it isn't currently raining doesn't negate the fact that inclement weather was and is still problematic. All right, law student of mine, do you see a problem with this argument? Let's look at this one. TLA, we can see that there is water on the vehicle and that the skies are cloudy. So even if it wasn't raining in the video, it probably was raining before they started rolling. Law student, future lawyer, do you see a problem with this comment? This is why I love the internet. This is why I love YouTube. You guys can learn to critically think in a legal manner, just as we attorneys do. No information, no knowledge is locked behind some gate. No one's gatekeeping now that we have the internet and especially all these ChatGPT-4s. Now, you guys know something that these regular laymen do not. All right, now let's see what Officer Tatum has to say about this. Let's see if we can spot any issues to his thinking, to his rationale, or is lackluster wrong. Let's take a look.
You're gonna hear this guy talk about it. You see people say it online. It's the most asinine and ridiculous claim. It's because they hate police and they always want the police to be wrong, so they will make up anything. It wasn't raining. Look at this video. This is fresh rain droplets still hanging onto his vehicle. If somehow it wasn't inclement weather, which means it wasn't raining at all, you wouldn't still see rain droplets on his car.
Let's stop it right there. Officer Tatum says if it wasn't...
Yeah, let's stop it. I agree with Officer Tatum. I'm not a grifter. No. I'm not this one-sided individual who just hopes for something. Confirmation bias. No. It's raining. Maybe not right now, but you can be driving out of a storm or into a storm. What is the argument for people who are not in the storm that are driving towards it and they don't have their lights on yet? What are they going to say? All right, well, it's not raining right here. Right. Technically, right? But if you're getting ready to get into this storm and you don't really know the traffic laws of inclement weather, then you should be pulled over and educated, right? So I stand by the pulling over. The abuse, the snatching out, the breaking of the window. Bro, no. Go to the working window and educate them. Educate them. Give them a ticket. Hey, bro, next time, if you see it raining, even if you just got out of it, just turn your lights on, fam. Simple. Done. So this makes no sense to even try to go with this back and forth. Was it raining or not? We know it was.
Inclement weather, you wouldn't see rain droplets still on his car. Now, guys, I got a question for you, and I'm gonna see who are the A students and who are the B students, all right? There are two problems with what Brandon Tatum just said. He said that if it wasn't inclement weather, you still wouldn't see the rain droplets on the car. Can you identify the two problems with this statement? I'll give you 5 seconds, all right? And while you're considering it, it's very hard to get an A in law school, okay? All right, time's up. If you got this answer, then at least you have a B. What's the problem with what he said? Let's go back and take a look.
Look at this video. This is fresh rain droplets still hanging onto his vehicle. If somehow it wasn't inclement weather, which means it wasn't raining at all, you wouldn't still see rain droplets on his car.
He said if it wasn't inclement weather, you wouldn't see raindrops on the car. What is the B answer? The B answer is, Officer Tatum, respectfully, you can see raindrops on a car when it's not raining. The rain could have stopped 5 minutes ago. It could have stopped 15 minutes ago. It could have stopped 30 minutes ago. Just because there are raindrops on a car does not mean that it's raining. If you got that answer, then I will give you a B. All right, that's the layup answer. But do you see a second problem with what he said? And let me just replay it because it's hard to catch.
If somehow it wasn't inclement weather, which means it wasn't raining at all, you wouldn't still see rain droplets on his car.
Did you catch it? Guys, I will tell you that if you are an attorney, you have to pay such close attention to every single word. What did Officer Tatum say? He said, if it wasn't inclement weather. What's the problem with that? The problem is inclement weather isn't a thing. It's nowhere in the statute. Guys, here is the complete statute that governs when your lights must be on, your headlights. Again, we see here during any rain, smoke, or fog. Do you see anything about inclement weather? As a lawyer, you have to pay attention to when people try to introduce new words, new meanings into an argument. Nowhere in here does it talk about inclement weather. In fact, if I go up here and just do a Control F, let's see. I am gonna put the word inclement. I don't know if you can see this or not, guys, but I put the word.
That is what we call a red herring. Because inclement weather was the claim from the officer that pulled him over. And then it was immediately detailed by rain. Rain. Rain, rain, rain. I think the officer said rain more than inclement weather. So he's right. As a lawyer, you have to nitpick and find these little terms and all that and critique it, yada, 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 right? If you're going to do that, both sides have the opportunity to do so. And that inclement weather part is going to be so minute in this because he's going to say, no, I said during the rain as well. You could say both, right? But why would this so-called lawyer who's testing us, I didn't know we were in a class, forgive me, should have told me, I would have took notes. For him to say, inclement weather is not even in the statute. Rain is. Rain is. So why are we wasting our time?
Word inclement in here and it comes up 0/0. Nowhere in here does it talk about inclement weather. So when Officer Tatum says, hey, it's inclement weather, and you have to know as a law student that he's introducing new words that are not in the statute.
That's that Black Lives Matter 2 thing. That's exactly what that is. And I hate to call this dude out on that. But because Officer Tatum didn't choose the word rain, he was just using the other part of the officer statement and said inclement weather. He said, well, your case is disproven. There's no such thing in the statute. Sorry. When black folks was like Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, they was trying to say, well, so does white lives matter. They almost told us that since we didn't say Black Lives Matter too, that our whole argument was disproven. It was like, damn. Wait, you know what I mean, right? No? Whatever. But for him to say, hey, Officer Tatum fucked up, law students, what do y'all think? Is Officer Tatum wrong for using inclement weather and not rain? Teach your students better. Teach them better.
Only thing we lawyers are concerned about is during any rain, smoke, or fog. That's it. I don't want to hear about inclement weather. I don't want to hear about low visibility. I don't want to hear about wet roads. The Florida legislature said during any rain, smoke, or fog. So pay attention to that. Did you get it? Did you get the inclement weather injection? If you got that, then you got an A on that pop quiz, and I really am impressed. If you got the B, then that's fine, but if you got an A, give yourself a pat on the back. Hold up. Let's pause for a second for a quick word from our sponsor, Chapter Medicare.
It's not. I'm glad he's not his lawyer, because that is a bullshit take. If he comes into the courtroom talking about inclement weather, yada, 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 he's going to be laughed out of the courtroom. And I don't think Benjamin Crump and them are harping on the fact that, because he even pled guilty, right? William pled guilty, which I disagree with. You know, you should have got legal counsel before. But granted, whatever. He pled guilty to the driving on suspended. And I think the resisting arrest or some shit without violence. They're not disputing that. They're disputing the violence. The violence. So for you to waste everybody's time with this short video that happened to be 20-something minutes long, we're coming to you for education, lawyer. That's what we're trying to do. You're losing me. You know what I mean? You're losing me. And I agree with lackluster, and it seemed like you do too. But for you to have this nonsensical take on this inclement weather and what the statutes say, you are not as savvy as you trying to claim you are.
Peace of mind today. All right, let's keep going.
If somehow it wasn't inclement weather, which means it wasn't raining at all, you wouldn't still see rain droplets on his car. Inclement weather doesn't mean that it's only inclement at the instant that it's raining. And then if it stopped raining for 30 minutes or 30 seconds, then all of a sudden it's not inclement anymore.
Do you see a problem with Officer Tatum's thinking about this statute? He says that if the rain stops 30 seconds or 30 minutes from when the officer pulls over the driver, then that doesn't mean that it's not inclement anymore. You, my little law student, do you see problems with this legal analysis? Hopefully you're all a student.
My little law students is what he calls us. So, I got a question. Hey, professor. So, if the stop that you actually conceded to, you said it yourself, it may have been raining a few minutes ago, but it's not raining now, right? Are you going to tell us, this is what you're going to tell us, your law students, us little people, that the judge, the jury, the detail of the law won't have any kind of chyron, I guess, or any kind of, hey, 5 minute, 10 minute, 15 minutes still indicates that it's still raining? Do you think in a court of law, this is what you want us to know, in a court of law, if weather reports are still saying that it's raining, just because this actual stop is out of the clouds, we can call the officer a lie because it's not raining right here, but the weather report is saying that it's raining? I don't think this whole 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago is going to hold up in court, Professor. I think a judge is going to look at that and be like, he didn't. When the officer noticed his lights weren't on, it was coming down on his car at that moment. What if that's the defense? Like, you can't teach your kids, the little ones, us, that those details don't matter. That's all the cop got to say is, man, my windshield wipers were on when I seen that his lights were off. Like, those are the kind of things that are going to come up if it get this fucking crazy. But for you to try to educate us on that, that's some bullshit, bro. And I think you're wrong, Professor. So did I get an F on my take?
Students now, and you're asking, where in the heck did inclement even come from? It's not in the state statute. It's not in the law. And we already discussed what happens if the rain stops 30 seconds before the driver is pulled over, or certainly 30 minutes before the driver is pulled over. That's crazy. If the rain stops 30 minutes before the officer pulls over the driver, then the officer did not pull over the driver during the rain. It's not during the rain if the rain stopped half an hour ago. I love that you guys are going to be able to analyze these facts legally, just like an attorney would. Let's go.
It's not just the rain. It's rain and rainy conditions.
Oh, are you catching it? Are you catching it? He said it's not just the rain, it's rain or rainy conditions. Law student of mine, was that in the statute?
Yes.
Here again is the statute, and it says every vehicle operated in Florida on a highway must have its headlights on during any rain, smoke, or fog. Do you see anything about raining conditions?
What is fog? Condensation, I guess. Mist? A form of a rainy condition? What is fog? Smoke? Of course not, because that's why they use fog and smoke at the same time. But fog can be considered rainy condition, I think. No? Am I tripping? Educate me.
Which is what Officer Tatum just said. Do you see anything about inclement weather? Do you see any grace period of 30 seconds or 30 minutes? You do not. You just see during any rain, smoke, or fog. All right, let's get back to our brother Officer Tatum. And hopefully you guys are analyzing this correctly. Hopefully you're getting A's on these quizzes.
Are we getting an A? Hey, Professor, are we getting an A? Are we getting an F? I think we might get an A at the end because we're going to agree. But the way we got there, I think it differs. So does that mean I'm going to get an F or like a D? Maybe a C+. I might get a C+ because I didn't agree all the way. I think I'm going to get a C+, y'all.
Lights and putting your lights on is for the conditions that's associated with rain. When it rains, visibility is lower. There's rain on the streets. People need to have better visibility when driving. That's what the spirit of the law says. That's
that's what the spirit of the law says. I will tell you, and again, none of this is taking shots at Officer Tatum. Excellent content creator. I'm sure he was an excellent officer. I am just looking at this from the lawyer's point of view because, again, this is a legal case. We are talking about state statutes. I will tell you as a lawyer that when anybody says the spirit of the law, then you know you got them. When somebody has to retreat to the word spirit, it means that the arguments that they're making are not in the statutes textually. When you are in court, when you're in trial, and you hear opposing counsel say, oh, well, that's the spirit of the law. That's what the legislature surely meant. I'm sure that if the legislature had more time, then they would have said, they would have clarified, they would have put in writing. Whenever you hear someone say it's the spirit of the law, you know you got them.
The hazardous lights and putting your lights on is for the conditions that's associated with rain. When it rains, visibility is lower. There's rain on the streets. People need to have better visibility when driving. That's what the spirit of the law says. That's
the spirit of the law. Let's go.
That's why no one contested that he was pulled over rightfully. You would not have rain droplets on your car if it had not been raining. The ground is wet. It is raining, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe it stopped raining for a small period of time.
Oh, that sounds like an admission to me. It sounds like Officer Tatum really knows what's going on. Sometimes as attorneys, guys, we never know if people are pulling our legs or not. As lawyers, we don't assume that you know the law. So it could be that Officer Tatum just doesn't know. But when he says, oh, well, it could be the rain stopped for a moment in time, that kind of gives me the impression that he knows what the statute says. If the
students, remember, we are his students. If it's not raining at the moment, right? Because we know how storms work, right? Because I don't know if he's a weather guy. Is he a weather guy too? Meteorologist? Anybody knows? I'm not, so shit. Don't take my word. But when it's raining or any kind of storm, there's no breaks. Isn't there like an eye of the storm where people are like, oh shoot, look, we got a little break. There ain't no more water coming down, but it's on its way back. What? Remember, we're in the court of law. We're in the court of law. He get to have his defense. And I get to have mine, right? We're going to go at it with ideas and try to persuade the judge and the jury. Like, hey, no, listen. How do we know that he wasn't getting ready to get back into range? Like, the stop was warranted. The stop was warranted. Stop it. Just stop it. So for you to sit here and be like, oh, Officer Tatum, we caught you. That's an admission. You said that it may have stopped real quick. Nobody turns their light off when they get out of the rain and then turn them back on if they happen to drive back in the rain. No, that's not a fucking thing. Forgive me. It's not. And your condescending tone, just like, fucking students, y'all think for yourselves. What do you think? Officer Tatum doesn't really know the law, but he kind of does because he just had the submission about it start raining. You know what doesn't stop? Time. Time never stops. It doesn't. But I don't think weather stops either, right? It might move. So I don't think stop would be the word in the court of law. No. I think dissipate, maybe, at the moment. But the weather control, the announcements, did those change? Did the news lady come out and say, hey, William, what's his name? William McNeil just hit a little break in the clouds and his car is no longer receiving droplets. So we're going to determine that it's no longer raining today. No. Bro, no. It's still raining. Just because you get the break in the clouds right now doesn't mean that it's done. So you're going to lose that argument, fam. You're going to lose it.
Rain stopped for a brief period of time, then what does that mean? It means that the traffic stop did not start during the rain. The focal point of this whole issue is the word during. What did our man say again?
It is raining, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe it stopped raining for a small period of time. That does not preclude the justification of having your lights on during inclement weather.
All right, guys, as your law professor, not going to beat a dead horse, but I'm going to replay that last sentence one more time, and I want you to analyze it.
It is raining, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe it stopped raining for a small period of time. That does not preclude the justification of having your lights on during inclement weather.
Inclement weather, all right? If you're my law student, hopefully you see the issue with that. Shout out to Officer Tatum, shout out to Lackluster. They're both going at it. If you guys like this video, just let me know and I will break down each of the issues so that you can understand how to analyze these things. You don't have to believe Officer Tatum. You don't have to believe Lackluster. You can think of it for yourself and then you won't be leaving me comments like this. These are laymen here, great people, great subscribers of mine commenting. Do you see any problems with what they're saying? It was raining. What is was? Does was mean during? The car is wet. All right, do you see a problem with that? It's raining. Look at the car glass. Lead, is his car wet? Water on the vehicle. Was it or is raining? It's rain on the window. If it's raining, should have the lights on. Now this is true. If it's raining, shout out to HKW. If it's raining, the lights should be on. The ground is wet, water particles on his vehicles. Yeah. All right, guys, we'll end it there. Just let me know in the...
Yeah, I disagree with him in his take on the rain part. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's trying to stay on that point of this case, because everybody else agrees on the abuse. Sorry. All of us feel like you shouldn't be beaten up for this stupid ass traffic ticket. No, you shouldn't. Nobody believes that. But that inclement weather and all that jazz, that stuff is going to make you look less credible. Oh, but look, yeah, it ain't raining now. Nah, because we all can see that it was raining. So the guy, William, he had an interview with his lawyer on Chris Cuomo's show. And Chris Cuomo, this airhead, I ain't even get to watch the whole video. But this interview, I guess, I don't know. The kid has a chipped tooth, right? That is one of my biggest pet peeves. Like, bro, don't chip my tooth. That's one of my fears. I be playing with my babies, man, and they'll swing something so fast, a toy or something, and hit me in the mouth. I'm like, hoping my tooth ain't chipped, right? I got pulled over one time. Nah, I wasn't even pulled over. Cops was just called on us, and they snatched me up, put me in the car, right? They threw me in the car and chipped my tooth. Right here. A little chip. I hit the gate. Boom! The little gate at the in the back seat. And I'm sitting there tasting all that dust. I'm like, damn. I'm feeling the new little roughness of my tooth. I'm like, what the fuck? I was paranoid, bro. I'm like, oh no, my tooth is chipped. So for this kid to go through that over a headlight situation? Your headlights weren't on? Now you lose a tooth or chip your tooth? Chris Cuomo's interview, I didn't watch the whole thing. So I'm not going to criticize it. But he's been having some very, very bad takes lately.
Let's bring in William McNeil Jr. and his lawyer, Harry Daniels. I'm sorry to meet you under these circumstances, but thank you for taking the opportunity.
Harry Daniels,
Counselor Daniels, thank you for being with me as well.
I got it wrong.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. All right, William, let's jump right into it, because I know you're okay. I know you're not happy about what happened. I know you're thinking about what to do. But you know what the crux of this is. You didn't listen to the police officers. You were asking for trouble. What do you make of that assessment?
Chris, tell somebody to turn the audio up on your studio, man. It's real low, bro.
I knew I wasn't getting pulled over lawfully, so I was fighting for my rights, really.
What did you think was going to happen, William?
Initially, I thought when I asked for the supervisor that that's what I would get, the supervisor.
Right.
And when you made the decision to not do what they were telling you to do? Take me through why you did that.
What?
I was scared. I was very, very frightened and afraid for my life. The first initial cop who pulled me over, he first put his hand on his gun right before I closed my door. That was my reason of closing my door, because he put his hand on his gun, walked towards, pulled me out the car. Don't need to put your hand on the gun. Don't need your gun at all to get me out the car. I obviously didn't show no type of aggression.
I'm told that when we were playing the video, it shook you up even now. Have you not been watching the video since this happened?
I try not to watch the video because I relive the moment almost all the time.
Look at the car. Look at the car. Hey, lawyer guy, two things. Remember that lawyer, what he said? Just because your car is wet doesn't mean that it was raining, right? Right? We get that. That's what he said. One of the excuses he used was you could have got your car washed, right? First of all, I ain't judging nobody. You should see my car. I got a broken side skirt, and I do get it washed. So, but I don't think he was getting his car washed, bro. Sorry. I don't think, if the officer didn't just do this right now with his with the front of his car, this kid was not washing this car. No, not today. And we can, who washes their car in the rain? Even if it just stopped raining 30 minutes ago. That would not hold up in court. It won't, man.
That's a major key reason on why I don't sleep as much at night. Really don't eat as much.
Well, this is not an easy thing to go through, period. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are around it, whether it's right, whether it's wrong. It looks horrible, and I had to feel horrible. And I appreciate you wanting to talk about it. What would you say to the officers, William, if you had the chance to talk to them about what happened and why it happened? What do you want them to know?
I don't want to talk.
Ooh, look at the bottom of his lip. So he said that his tooth got chipped, and that piece of his tooth went through his lip. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Officer Tatum, remember, we're talking about headlights. I am not disputing him being pulled over like the lawyer is. But the unsensible use of force is why these officers are being sued and should be charged. So for you to defend that, you're a piece of shit.
What I would say is that they should be ashamed to carry the badge. No, they should be ashamed to be an officer, especially if they went under oath to serve and protect us as citizens. And
look at his tooth. Just chipped his tooth, man. Like, come on. This is justified to you, Tatum? I mean, use of force is bad, you know what I'm saying? Bro, look at his fucking tooth, man. It's crazy. This is crazy.
And they do this for years, since almost the beginning of their career. You know, I feel like they should be held accountable for their actions.
Counsel, let me bring you in here real quick. What is the legal line for you, and what do you make of the assessment of the state authorities that say the officers committed no crime?
Chris, that's absolutely ridiculous. You as a former prosecutor, you and anybody can see this was a criminal act. The fact that they didn't even address or talk to William after the incident, once they became aware of this incident, and choose to just whitewash it like nothing happened to him, it's ridiculous. You know, prosecutors have an oath to be a bachelor of justice, and they failed miserably. Our line is clear. We're going to pursue justice for William. If that's filing a lawsuit, whatever redress that we can take, whatever direction that we can go in order to get justice for Mr. McNeil, because this is happening too much in our nation, and especially in Jacksonville. It's happening a lot. In several cases where black men were stopped because of a pretextual stop, seatbelt violation that leads to death, killings, beatings, and Ms. McNeil is just one of a long list. So we are seeking every avenue to get redress for Ms. McNeil.
Yep.
What do you make of the, hey, listen to the officers, none of this happens?
I think William makes a great point. As Chris, if it's broad day outside, and I tell you as an officer, hey, you need to come outside because it's night, you should be very suspicious at that time. And I think William was very suspicious as when the officer, in fact, if you listen to the video, William tells the officer that, hey, it's not raining. He said, well, it doesn't matter.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below.
I guess we got to subscribe to get the full video. I'm not subscribing, but I don't know. There's too many different opinions when it comes down to the legal take on it. Lawyers are on agreement with the violence, right? Officers weren't supposed to put hands on them, right? And one of the other key things that I don't understand why, because I already said about pleading guilty and all of that to having a suspended license and resisting arrest with nonviolence, right? That whole resisting arrest. How was he resisting arrest? That would be my other claim. Because we all know that if you're under arrest, your rights are read to you. And in this whole take, from his video to the body cam video, I didn't hear no Miranda rights. Not once. Did y'all? Did y'all hear his Miranda rights being read to him? Under an arrest or during an arrest, your Miranda rights are going to be read to you. And the reason for the arrest will be told to you. So you have to have the reason why he's being arrested for him to even be resisting. And that's why they do what they do, because some of y'all don't know that. Some of y'all say, oh, yeah, my bad. I plead guilty to resisting arrest. And you didn't even realize that you weren't resisting anything because you were never under arrest. So we're going to keep following this video. It's a very, this shit done went dumb viral. There's different takes, different opinions, different lawyers are coming out. I think he has a case. Me personally, I think he's going to win his case. That pleading guilty thing, I mean, they could overturn it sometimes, but they're using that as he's guilty. He already said he's guilty. He agrees to being guilty. Why are we even going back and trying to figure something out? Nope. Because under duress is a thing. And if they can prove that he was concussed, had a concussion, and was feeling threatened and pleaded guilty under duress, oh yeah, those pleas can get washed away as well. So don't be so quick to think you understand this case. It's a lot of twists and turns. But please, if you like this video, like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified every time I post or go live. I love y'all.